Hey everybody, welcome back to School Sucks Live. This is Brett. With me tonight is Osborne, and on the phone down in Nashville, Tennessee, we have Bob Murphy from the Mises Institute. And Bob, that was one thing that I wanted to get into discussing eventually is the online courses that you're teaching through the Mises Institute. But many of you who have been listening to School Sucks for a while are very familiar with the name Bob Murphy. He is actually, even though I don't think he knows it, he's actually been on the show before. He was in episode 99 from PorcFest 2011 when we did an education roundtable. I don't remember what any of us talked about, but it's up there at 99 if you want to hear more. And Bob, what's your blog?
My blog, it's called Free Advice, but the URL is consultingbyRPM.com.
All right. And you might also know Bob from, I would say maybe possibly one of the best-known publications. It would be Politically Incorrect Guide to Capitalism.
Yeah, that's what most people would know me for.
And you also wrote a couple of study guides for some large-size books by Rothbard, and I think the other one was it Hayek?
Yeah, the Human Action Study Guide and Man, Economy, and State Study Guide.
So you can check out those study guides as well, and it's consultingbyRPM.com is Bob's blog. So before we went to break, we were talking about this character named Paul Krugman, who's a very famous Keynesian. Osborne, you're familiar? We're all familiar.
Yes, my first experience with Paul Krugman was back right after 9/11, and he wrote an article talking about how that was going to be so awesome for the economy.
Yeah.
Total broken window fallacy coming at you.
Yeah, exactly. So he has continued, and he is somebody that a lot of people in the mainstream media and mainstream discussions about economics, they're taking this guy pretty seriously. Now, Bob, you want to debate him.
Right. He's a Keynesian economist. You know, that's what he's proud of that label. And he is, as Osborne said, he puts forth many of the things that Austrians think are just simple fallacies. Talking about back in 2002, he was lamenting the dire straits of the U.S. economy, and he actually said at the time, Alan Greenspan needs to replace the NASDAQ bubble with a housing bubble. And he's been running from that comment ever since, obviously, saying, I didn't mean it literally. But, I mean, he's always talking about we need more government, we need the Fed to print more money and to boost aggregate demand. So whereas the Austrians think, no, you don't understand. The reason we're in this slump right now is because of the unsustainable boom. It's the very policies that Krugman and other Keynesians espouse that cause the bubble that then leads to the crash. So it's crazy. The only way we're going to get out of this is if we stop trying to fix things by doing more of the same. So I want to debate him with that. And he has publicly said that he wouldn't debate Austrians. So I came up with this debate challenge idea.
I did hear him say something one time like, debates are pointless because no one agrees with me at the end.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny. But he said, I'm not giving Robert Murphy any kind of a platform, any kind of a public platform, correct?
Right. So, I mean, just to fill in your listeners who don't know. So if you go to KrugmanDebate.com, I've got a website there that gives all the backstory. So he has publicly said, even before I entered the scene, I'm not debating an Austrian and giving those guys a platform because no one takes them seriously. So I dreamed up this goofy idea where I got people to make a pledge that's going to go to a food bank in New York City. And so as of right now, we've got like $77,000 pledged. So the deal is if Krugman ever did debate me for an hour or whatever it would be, then all these people who made the pledge, their credit card gets dinged and the $77,000 at this point goes to a food bank in New York City. So it's like, it's not worth his hour to have all that money go to the food bank. That was the premise of my challenge. And so some guy, when Krugman was doing a radio show promoting Krugman's new book, some guy who likes me got through the call screener and then on the air asked him, why don't you bait this guy Murphy? And Krugman said, like you said, Brett, because these guys are saying, why would I give a platform to that clown? These are serious issues, not something that's going to be settled in a soundbite and blah, blah, blah. So that's his position.
Do you think he really believes that it's just a waste of time, or from your experience having these debates with other Keynesians, do you think that it's just too much of a liability to give somebody like you that forum? And to have him be answerable to your arguments in real time? Is that just too dangerous?
Right. Yeah, I think there's a couple things. So part of it is, of course, just why I want to have, because people have asked me, Bob, what's the point? Why are you doing this? Well, because clearly it would bring publicity to the Austrian perspective if Krugman were to debate somebody. And I think I could be articulate. I actually debated a lot. I'm a standard nerd. I debated in high school and college and stuff. So, I can hold my own in a debate. And certainly if Krugman were going to debate me, I would study my butt off and I would be ready for it. But beyond that, it's also, he debates people. Like, he'll go on the Sunday talk shows and in his mind blow up George Will or something. Yeah. So he has rarely debated someone like me, who has been reading his blog religiously for 3 years. I know every position Krugman's had over the last 5 years. And so when he contradicts himself on my blog, I point it out and I'll go find it and say, well, that's funny, because back in 2009, he said that. So it would, I think I could spin stuff back at him and I would know the paper, so he can't just bluff the way he could with like George Will or somebody and just say, oh, well, Alicina in 2007 showed this in the AER. And I might be able to say, no, in that paper they did such and such. So you're interpreting that wrong. So that's partly why I think it would help if I were to debate him, because I think I really do know his position and can take it to the next level, as opposed to merely saying, oh, you're just for more spending, which is true, but he can just say you're an idiot and you're not a trained economist, whereas he can't dismiss me as easily.
Right. And obviously, yeah, I think there is a liability because he is this kind of rock star in the liberal media. He appears on Real Time with Bill Maher frequently, and they think he's like a god. And he's not really that impressive. He's a frumpy little clown of a man.
They put him in movies.
They put him in a movie.
Get him to the Greek movie. Yeah. He had a little cameo on that.
Oh, that's right. He was in that.
He was.
Yeah. Like he's a
he's got the platform. He's got everything. He's a winner, right? So he has zero incentive to deal with us little people, right?
Yeah, you guys are totally right. It would be like the heavyweight champ fighting some punk, who no one even heard of. That if I beat him, it would be crazy. Whereas if he blew me up, no one would think. They say, yeah, this guy doesn't even teach at a reputable school or something. So who cares? There'd be little upside for him and a lot of risk to debate me, so why would he do it?
That raises an interesting question, and this kind of shifts us into a new topic. The difference between Paul Krugman and the heavyweight champ is that the heavyweight champ actually won a fight at some point, right? So why does the Keynesian ideology win in the public debate? And by that I mean that there wasn't any debate, because at the very beginning of the show, we said that most people aren't even aware that there are these two different schools of thought in economics. The only divisions that people know about in economics are micro and macro. That's all we'd ever be taught. So this is we can open this up to all three of this, and I am going to go to the phone in a minute. That it has been lighting up a little bit here. Is it fair to say, from your experience, Bob, and we can answer this question after the break, and I'd be happy to get your thoughts if you're listening as well at 843-JOIN-SSP. Does the state buy into Keynesianism, or even in something like foreign policy from the neocons, because it justifies their size and their power? So this is School Sucks Live. We will deal with that in just a bit.
Last month, the FDA approved Hallucex, a new class of weight loss drug that helps users avoid overeating by producing nightmarish hallucinations whenever food is around. Hallucex targets the brain's cerebral cortex, stimulating the centers responsible for fear and visual processing. Test subjects reported an unprecedented decrease in appetite and showed dramatic weight loss, with only 18% reporting night terrors or subsequent cardiac arrest.
It's designed to make fatty and sugary foods even scarier. An apple just looks like it has fat.
Bob, can you hear me?
A milkshake will threaten you and your family by name.
Earlier
I'm trying to get this other guy on the phone, but
powerful and produce mental states in which test subjects no longer believed that food had ever existed.
Travis, can you hear me?
The subject had to eat all of the food on the planet in order to prevent food from rising up
hold on
and
one
destroying
second.
the human race.
No, you don't understand. I have to do this.
Or the conviction that food could be negotiated with diplomatically.
Travis, hold on. I got to hang up on you. I got to fix something.
This is the Onion News Network. Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible
Bob,
by your generous
I'm going to hang up
support.
on you and
Donors
just call
can
you
receive
right
great
back.
Gifts like
Okay.
first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
What
All
if
right.
the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime
can you hear
was
me?
to move together
Yep.
with others
All right,
who
great.
think like you? Liberty activists are joining the Free State Project, which is over halfway to its goal of 20,000 participants.